Hello YouTube, this is Froogle and welcome to another episode of Froogle Vlogs. Now if you are a new FSX pilot and you came to our wonderful hobby by virtue of FSX Steam Edition that was recently released, stick around towards the end of this video. I'll give you some reasons why you might want to hold off buying that juicy DLC that you saw on the store. But first, I went to Ocala last week and I did my presentation at the Ocala Flight Sim Club. They made me feel very welcome. It was a wonderful event. They actually had record attendance and some of you travelled great distances just to see me, which made me feel very warm and fuzzy. Thank you very much. The presentation was amazing. It was really well received, and as a result, well kind of as a result, I've had some people reach out to me to give it again. So, this kind of ties into a question a number of you have had over the years on this channel. Why is there no major Flight Sim Con here in the United States? Well, apparently there is. Flight Sim Con 2015 is at the New England Air Museum in Windsor Locks, Connecticut, and it took me a while to memorize all of that. It is June 13th and 14th, it's a two-day event, and it combines a show which VAs are going to be at, some of the vendors are going to be there as well, like GoFlight for example, they're going to be there. So you'll be able to go to the show, look at equipment, buy software, also look at what some of the VAs are doing. Boston ATC have a huge, Boston Virtual ATC have a huge presence at the show as well. And then there's a whole seminar track as well. And immediately after the keynote opening the event on Saturday, the 13th of June, yours truly will be giving pretty much the same presentation I gave at Ocala, which is my history in simulation, how I got started, the formation of the YouTube channel, how that all works, and the future of simming. It would be great to meet you. Check out the link to the con in the show notes below, and hopefully I see some of you there in June. As well as, don't forget, Sun and Fun in April, which is still the highlight of my year right now. Looking forward to that. So Sun and Fun coming up, but also check out the link in the show notes below for Flight Sim Con 2015. Next up, I did put out a couple of questions on this very channel and I asked you about content you'd like to see, and there was an overwhelming response that you would like to see more DCS content. I have not forgotten you. What I've been trying to do is pick a series that I want to cover, so rather than just dive in haphazardly and say let's fly the Black Shark or let's fly the A10C or something like that, I've been taking my time assessing where I'm at. It's been quite a while since I did a lot of serious DCS stuff, but rest assured there is a DCS series and DCS content coming. Thank you so much for your patience. Now I did have a couple of comments last week, probably about 4 comments, which out of 40,000 of you doesn't seem a lot, but it did get to me a little bit, saying it's a shame I don't do the long form videos like I used to, meaning the fully loaded videos, the in-depth 2, 3, 4 part reviews. I am doing them, I am working on them. Admittedly, the 3 shows I have on the channel right now are great filler content. They do give me a break from time to time, and I have been a little lazy this year, I have to admit, but this can be quite tiring. But they are coming. I am working on 2. I'm going to say fully loaded, but I'm not sure one of them is going to be fully loaded, meaning multiple computers, but 2 of that style of video right now, and they're coming very, very soon indeed. Obviously, one of them was being held up slightly by the impending release of the 777 for Prepared. Anyway, let's get back to what I mentioned at the start. FSX Steam Edition DLC. Those of you who watched the news show know that on last week's news show I made a bit of a flippant comment. I said, and as usual, what would the Froogle Sim news show be without the regular weekly occurrence of Dovetail DLC? Now this is starting to make me think and ponder a little bit. I don't drive trains. I'm not really into Train Simulator, but I do have Dovetail's Train Simulator, which used to be Microsoft Train Sim. I do have that on Steam. And when I go looking for add-ons, or when I have in the past gone looking for add-ons, not that I bought any ever, I obviously, as a Steam customer, go to Steam and look at the DLC, and I started to look at FSX Steam Edition and the DLC there, and as you know from the news show, Dovetail have been re-releasing a lot of DLC, a lot of mission packs, flight plans and stuff like that from First Class Simulations. Now First Class Simulations is defunct. They went out of business. They didn't make particularly good products. It's just how it is. The products were not very well received. I do know the pain, blood and sweat and tears that goes into creating even a bad product. So I say that most respectfully, but the products weren't very well received and the company was no more until it, I think, got picked up again by Dovetail. So what we've seen is the re-release of a lot of dead DLC. And to be frank, the DLC that they've re-released is not very good. So new FSX Steam users, again, welcome to the show, welcome to the channel, welcome to our most engrossing, awesome, amazing hobby. But I would urge you, I would caution you, I would implore you, actually, hold off your DLC purchases. And the reason I say that is simply because the DLC is not that good. It's going to give you a pretty poor impression of what FSX does. Over the 8 or 9 years of FSX's life, prior to Dovetail picking it up and deciding to put it on Steam, we had some amazing innovations in simulation. A company called PMDG puts out study-level aircraft. These are aircraft that are licensed from Boeing, like Boeing 737, Boeing 777. There's an MD-11 in there. There's some amazing aircraft, if you're into airliners, from PMDG. A2A simulations have an incredible lineup of warbirds, like the Spitfire, like the B-17, like the P-51 Mustang, as well as civilian aircraft, civilian GA aircraft, like the Cessna 172, 182, the Piper Cherokee. These are incredibly, amazingly detailed aircraft, which will give you a much better experience of the simulator. You should also look at some scenery add-ons as well. Add-ons from companies like OrbX, companies like UK 2000, companies even like Aerosoft, who make some wonderful scenery add-ons that really dramatically change the look and feel of your whole simulator. I would urge you as well, look at things like Active Sky Next, which is a weather engine which overhauls the way weather works within the sim and makes everything feel much more realistic, much more scary as well in many instances. In terms of your flights and flight plans, look at this very channel or any of the other YouTube channels out there. Many of us will put up videos showing us flying from A to B, and you can get some good inspiration there on flights that you should do, rather than going out and buying a pack of Let's Explore Great Britain or Let's Travel Around the World in 80 flights. They're fine enough products, they just weren't really well received. I don't think they give you a good impression. So here's what I suggest instead. Go and buy a high quality aircraft from the likes of A2A, PMDG, Real Air Simulations, Aerosoft. Buy some great scenery. OrbX, FTX Global is incredible. Go get that. Go get some wonderful airports like the UK 2000 ones, like the Aerosoft ones. Get a new weather add-on. Invest your money in these things and then go and do some research. Maybe you want to recreate Amelia Earhart's famous last flight. It's easy enough to find the flight plan on the internet and recreate it. Maybe you want to recreate Charles Lindbergh's heroic feats of flying across the Atlantic in the spirit of St. Louis. You can do that too. Maybe you just want to recreate your holiday flight when you flew from London to Barcelona or from Orlando up to New York. It's very, very simple with the aid of Google to find the flight plans to do those things. This simulation...
There's no internet connection at the moment.
What the hell? My Android tablet just went nuts. Anyway, this simulation is without limits. The sky is your limit in simulation. The things you can do are incredible. I would urge you to stay away at the moment from DLC, which gives a pretty bad impression of everything that you can achieve. That's not to say it's not going to change. My friend Jane Whittaker is working on a DLC pack for Dovetail, and I've spoken with Jane, and she insists and tells me that this DLC that she is working on is designed for beginner pilots to FSX Steam Edition to give them a really good impression of the sim. You might want to wait for that. It comes out in about a month or 2 months' time. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think? What should new FSX pilots, FSX Steam Edition pilots get to get started, rather than buying old, defunct, didn't sell very well in the first place DLC? As always, my name is Froogle. Until next time, see you soon.